Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi, take number 2. Have some Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I've talked to you before about framing, and really what I'm talking about in framing is, in physics they talk about like a frame of reference that determines, all the relativity kind of situations with your speed as your motion compared to the speed of light. If you left the Earth traveling near the speed of light, you would age at your local clock, but in the Earth's frame of reference, you'd be gone for whatever light years and light years. And you frame pictures, in this video, I've changed the framing of the video. I've changed that, a little bit of the perspective. So what are we talking about? I went on the internet to see if anyone else is using the word like this, and I'm not saying that to have it be my bona fides. Maybe people aren't as stupid as me, and maybe there's a better word to say that. But I'd like to kind of stake out that land and talk about it so that when you watch these videos, when I mention this word framing, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And we're going to say, what is your success? Framing your success. That's pretty good. And as you're growing up or as you're matriculating through life, you probably need to make that frame of reference really specific to you. Otherwise, the world is such an evil place that it's going to continually knock you down and you'll never feel like you're getting ahead. In that case, some of those cases, it's not really important to have like some objective truth because, you might, so to speak, die before you get born. And you see a bunch of people that aren't what they want to be or aren't what society won't let them be what they want. So this is an important thing for them to define their frame. Doesn't mean we all have to accept that frame, but for that person, that's important that they define that. And when you move on into video games, this is a lot less than your personal definition of who you are or what you believe in. It's a video game. And so there's even less of that. Objectively, we might say, if I just get to this next building, that's a win. But really, when we're in missions, it's to complete the mission. Now, part of what makes games fun there's a lot of different calculations and analytical things we can bring to bear. And usually, people bring this critical thinking to the point that is convenient for them because they have a narrative in their head that they're trying to say. I have the same thing. I have a narrative that I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? I'm saying a lot of times what you think is a win or a loss is not really a win or a loss. You're selling yourself short. Conversely, you may think you're winning when you're not. And I don't care what side of the political argument you're on, you can see that on both sides would suffer from that. One side thinks they're winning, and the other side thinks they're winning. And what's the objective truth? And some of those things we don't know. Because it's not like, how many ounces in a gallon. We've said that it's whatever, 128 ounces are in a gallon. Right? The meaning of a gallon is arbitrary. We could call that word whatever we want. There's a heavy goes down. So there's a fluidity to this frame. And let's talk about video games for a second. If you really want to delve into the analytics of a game, I would recommend none other than World of Warcraft. And there's a site, Icy-Veins, that does a great job in all the theory crafting for World of Warcraft. And there was a time where I thought that was kind of important. And if you go into rating, someone might tell you that's important. But when you're thinking about a build or you're thinking about playing a game, really the truth is, can you get through the content? Can you kill the mobs that you're trying to kill? Doesn't matter what anyone else says. And I'm a firm believer in this. You can take cues from other people, but if you don't know how to play, the best build in the world in the hands of a novice is just going to get you a novice getting smoked. This is this gray area where we go into, well, it depends how I play it, and we get into all these machinations of this, that, and the third. And I'm not going to tell you this is right or wrong. When I play a game, I very seldom in the beginning care about what the theory crafters or what the meta is. And if there was such a thing as a meta, what's the meta in life then? So if you're, pick who you are. You're 18 to 30. What's the meta for an 18 or 30-year-old? Right, there is no meta for an 18 or 30-year-old. It's whatever you want your life to be, whatever's important to you. But the juxtaposition to that is you're playing a video game that has clear and identifiable goals. That's Roxy. With clear and identifiable goals. So what I want you to think about is, when you're playing these games, can you beat the content you're doing? Recently, Sloth Moods and I, a fellow YouTuber, went and did something that was, like 15 levels higher than me, and it was 13 levels higher than him. And we beat half of it. Now, when we've played that, we played the exact same map again, and it was like, I don't know if it was tier 6 or tier 10, and we went through it. We were both higher levels. I was a higher level, but it was not that hard. So what does that tell you? In a game like Diablo, where the skill level's constantly changing as you level up, everything gets readjusted. When you're at level 50, you might have had 60% armor reduction or damage reduction, and at level 61 you might only have 47, because as you go up, the monsters scale higher. You can feel that in a game. Oh gosh, YouTube, this is normally when I say, can you subscribe, like, unsubscribe for that death, resubscribe for me for my teammate coming and rescuing me, and maybe hit the notification when I pop back up. I ran through a minefield. I apologize, YouTube. Now, Ronan, I don't have a feel. Yes, you have a feel. You're going to play the game, and you're going to, without stepping up a level, you're going to try the hardest content in the level you're at. And can you go through that? What are some measures of that? Time to kill. If I die any, do I have to be rezzed? And. How many healing pots did I use? And. What I'm going to tell you, though, is when you get on the analytics route, it's a long, long slog. And that's where you're going to get into opinions in your personal play style. You can get in a game where you can look at your damage and look at your potential damage versus your actual damage. And this is potential energy and kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is when I'm moving right now. So I have 0 potential energy. And I'm going to find some stairs. Find some stairs. I order you, find stairs. And now I'm increasing my potential energy because I'm going up higher. I've had to expend energy to do that, but nonetheless, because I'm higher, I have more potential energy because. If I will send you the channels if you need to find out why. And that's with your weapon, you always have that kind of, in a lot of games, there's some additive things. If I put a status effect on someone, do I do more damage? Do I do more damage when I'm closer or further away? And as a old geezer, what I'm going to tell you in almost all games is you want to probably have the highest base damage as possible. Because if none of those criteria, you're always then playing a game where I'm waiting for this criteria to happen where I can then put out more damage, or I need to do this. When you've looked at some of my builds in the Division 2, there was a build I used with perfect status effect killer, whatever it's called. So when I put a status effect, I get 20% more damage for 27 seconds. So I need to put status effects on someone. The easiest way for me to do that is with Vial Jammer. But then if I use Vial Jammer, my other skill, because I have momentum and the other whatever holster that gives me more energy as I oscillate back and forth between skills, I need another skill up, which is the drone. That's a lot of things to go on in your head. Destiny's like that. So I'm going to this monster, and then if I do this, then it works with this and it works with that. And at the end of the day, you should just have the highest base DPS you can have. That should be where you're going for. Furthermore, you should have the highest damage reduction that your build can handle. But Ronin, I can reset my P, and I can... It doesn't matter in these games, because in these games, when you're playing, the designers have it built for the casual. The PvE is built for the casual. It's built for the... I want you to think about this. Back in the day, people really complained because when I was working at a job and I was making a lot of money, I just wanted to come home and level my character up. I wanted to pay to win. I'm not sitting at home all day. So the developers have balanced this between being able to play to win versus being able to just win because you're spending all that time. And you see the communities really hate it when there's a pay to win. Why am I getting penalized because I have a job? Would be one thing those people would say. The other person would say that doesn't, I spent my $60 on the game, and now you're letting someone come in and spend $120 and they're better than me. And kind of the compromise is with cosmetics, they say, well, we'll let you buy cosmetics, and that's, you don't have to grind for those. Back in the day, you had to grind for all that crap. Why am I saying all this? You know if you can kill this stuff or not. I don't play the Division 2 anymore. I don't show you those videos because I win at Legendary every single time. I might as well just try to solo it. And so the next evolution of the videos would be to solo it. If you want to see how to do Legendary content in the Division 2, my channel is littered with it. And it's easy and it's formulaic at this point. So playing Diablo, it's getting pretty much to be the same thing. Now, here's the beauty of the game. If you want to delve into all the minutia, then these games will let you do that. And there is an itch there to be scratched, for sure. Normally like, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. Please help me get to 500. I need your help. But the game doesn't have to be that way. What happens when you go in raiding is that's what happens. I would be nervous about raiding in Diablo for that thing. Well, you don't have this and you don't have that. Diablo is a good enough game. There's so many variables. Not that you can't figure them out. It's still a finite amount of variables. It seems almost infinite, but it's not. But the tail of the tape, the actual thing is, can you get through the content? And so you still have to do it to win. In your life, you have to frame this achievement. I want to learn French in 3 weeks. That's great. You know if you succeed or not or whatever. I want to lose X amount of pounds. I want to go to this school. I want to dunk. I want to do a triple ollie on a skateboard. If that's what they do. You're defining that frame. So, this is Ronin Kazi signing off. Frame your success, YouTube. Frame it.